Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 30th of January for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you the key features to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail all of the ins and outs for the signs from Aries through to Pisces. If you're a returning visitor to my channel, thank you so much for joining me once more. If you're new, it's great to have you with me. Please like or comment. I answer all comments. This is very much a community. And also subscribe. And if you would like to understand what the next year will hold for you as an individual, as opposed to your zodiac sign, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you your forecast, but also my special package of 30% off your life roadmap report. This helps you to understand where you can seize opportunities more firmly, but also some of the patterns that may have repeated themselves that are not so easy. The more you can intimately understand what these are about, the more you can overcome them. Also, I will provide your free Zodiac, Indian and Chinese 12-month forecast completely free of charge. Please see the link below. So this week begins with the Sun forging a really energized link with Mars. But later in the week, Mars and Venus are actually going to be in a tense right angle. But that can just amp up the attraction of someone that you may encounter. Essentially, the Sun in the sign of Aquarius is about friendship. Mars in Gemini is about communications. So if there's somebody that you're attracted to in a social context, then the text messages and emails can soon flow. There can be a meeting up and it can be great fun. Or you may find yourself in the mood to be much more active. But with Venus, the planet of allure, in the sign of Pisces, this is a more reflective location, but Venus actually is exalted here. It likes being in Pisces, and it's asking us to be attuned to how things feel. Mars has an element of urgency around communications in Gemini, so I wouldn't think it's a great idea to rush communications around anyone. If you get to know them this week or you've been recently getting to know them, just let things go at their own pace. But there can be a sense of desire. Now also this week, we do see the Sun in a much more discordant right angle to Uranus. And this may just ring a little bit of a bell in the back of your mind. And the reason is because a year ago, this exact aspect occurred, but also because Saturn in Aquarius has been in that extended right angle with Uranus in Taurus. But the Sun's moved in. Now the Sun obviously is about our core energy. Uranus in the sign of Taurus is about everyday money, but also our self-worth. So it is possible that there is going to be something that comes out into the open as this week goes on, that the truth seeker Uranus pushes us to fess up about. And the sign of Aquarius is very much into the idea of truth because, of course, Uranus is the co-ruler of this sign. But by the end of the week on Sunday, we have a very intense full moon in the sign of Leo. This is a culmination event. If we look back to 6 months ago when we had the Leo new moon, that forged an amazing trine with Jupiter. It was very much about showcasing our talents, our desires, our passions. But the Sun in Aquarius is at the coolest point of its journey for its entire yearly cycle. It's technically in detriment, and the dispassionate side of Aquarius pushes back at what can be seen as the more frivolous and even attention-seeking energies of Leo. And because the Uranus energies in Taurus is very much about how much something's worth, but it can be an erratic energy, this is not the best of times to speculate. So over the next 2 weeks, I wouldn't be risking any resources on any get-rich-quick scheme, or if a friend recommends buying something that just seems to be absolutely amazing, I'd slow things down. Also, this can be a time when affections, whether it's with friendships or in a love relationship, can be influenced by our values. And if our values are not meshing with someone that we're spending a lot of time with, this can bring some turbulence into the open in the next 2 weeks. But also this week, we do have a very compassionate link between Mercury and Neptune. And it's just encouraging us to try to understand why we react in certain ways, what conditions us to have the responses we have. But I think that the full moon is essentially quite a triggering event. Please stay with me for your in-depth forecast for each of the 12 signs. So Taurus, as this week begins, your desire to improve your financial or professional situation is going to be incredibly strong. The drive you have as you make your way into February can be really significant. Now, if you do have an interview or you do a presentation, you can do so with aplomb. Come across passionately, but also very confidently too. However, later in the week, of course, your ruler Venus, which is in your sector of friendship, does forge a right angle with Mars. Is there somebody in your friendship circle that you're finding to be rather irresistible? Well, I think as this week goes on, the draw of this person and the allure of this person can for sure get stronger. But the Sun also later in the week goes into a right angle with Uranus in your sign. And even though there may be a professional possibility, is it asking you to bend yourself into a structure which in some way will stop you from being able to express your talents in quite the way you want? It could actually be something that's quite well paid, but perhaps doesn't give you the creative opportunity. And all of that can create something of a dilemma. And as the full moon occurs, as the week draws to a close, you do need to think about how things feel, because the moon in Leo is in your 4th house of emotion, home, family. But the Sun's in the part of your horoscope that's to do with success. And Uranus is making you feel a bit edgy. You're not quite sure. Do you protect exactly what you have now and play safe? Or do you do something that is a little more daring, but it pushes you outside your comfort zone? That's really the nub of this week. But I certainly feel if you want to present a very bold and confident image, you can certainly do it. But I think you need to understand that if a big job or a big pay rise or a big package seems on offer, it may eat up the amount of time you have for your home life, your emotional life, or even for recuperation. So in other words, they're going to want their pound of flesh, and that could see you feeling a bit compromised. So your need to be a free spirit is really at the core of this week's message as it comes to a close, whether it is in terms of your personal life or in terms of your professional situation. And sometimes in life, we don't necessarily get all that we need. We just get some of what we need, and there is some compromise to be made. Just how much you want to compromise depends on your unique situation.